Hi everybody, LordsCall14 here. In this video I'm going to go over some of the methods that I've used, and I'll tell you which ones I recommend in case you're actually interested in speed cubing. So, the first method I've used is the one that I show in my tutorial, which involves putting the corners and edges in separately, which works really well until you get down to about 45 seconds or 50 seconds and you realize that you're really pushing it and it's very difficult to get much faster. So, I started learning intuitive F2L from that point. Well, basically what intuitive F2L is instead of putting the corner and the edges in separately, you put the corner and the edges in at the same time. So I'll just do some F2L examples with that. And then the last layer I still stayed the same with, just for that point anyway. So as in pretty much every single method, you go ahead and get the cross wherever that last piece is. There it is. Go ahead and get your cross. So in this case I would see green and orange edge, white, green, and orange corner. So based on what I've learned, I have to pair them up. For this tutorial I would recommend Lance the Blue Knights video, because he explains it really well. I'll put a link in the video description. So yeah, I learned intuitive F2L. I'll give you the video for that, and I'll show you how to learn that one. So after that, my last layer still stayed the same. But after that I started learning actual OLL and PLL, and at this point I still only use 2-look OLL, but I have learned 1-look PLL at this point. For those, I'll put you some links in the video descriptions that you can check out. That'll show you the links for the video, for the algorithms. They're really not that hard to learn. OLL I still use 2-look because it really only adds a couple seconds to your time. So I'll start learning 1-look once I start getting around 20-ish. At this point I still average around 25, 24-ish, so still got some work to do. So I was looking over the internet for a while, and I actually found something called the Vandenberg-Harris method, which is a nice stepping stone if you want to start learning ZView F2L, which I actually do want to start learning. Only problem is that it's a couple hundred algorithms, but even then, it looks really useful. So at this point I'm starting to use the VH method, the Vandenberg-Harris method, and I'll show you how the F2L works for that. So, for the Vandenberg-Harris method, you go ahead and, as usual, even in this one, you go ahead and you still get your cross. This is just a stepping stone. It's not a whole new method altogether. You go ahead and get your cross. Now, I'm only using part of the Vandenberg-Harris method, the part that I feel is useful. Now, what you do is you go ahead and still get your first three F2L pairs, as if you were actually solving it normally. That's 2 so far. So I get that edge in there. So I go ahead and get my first F2L, first 3 of them. So then I see, okay, so there's these 2. Now what I want to do is I want to put them into one of 4 cases, in which I can either insert them like this, or I can insert them, for example, like this possibly, or if they're already paired up and facing off. I'll show you some pictures of the cases. This is case 1. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the pictures. It's very difficult to see. In this case, both of them are paired up and they're on the right hand side facing you. Case 2 is the same thing. They're both paired up, except they're still on the front side, but they're facing towards the right. This is case 2. Case 3 is where they're not paired up yet. One is on the top right hand corner and one is across on the opposite side with the opposite color thing. And case 4 is the exact same thing, except it's still on the top right, except the opposite edge is on the left hand side, which is the case I have here. There's the corner up top there, and then there's your edge up there, which is the case I have here. Corners here, edges here. So now what I have to do is I have to find the case. I see, okay, I've got that L shape in the top right hand corner. So on my algorithm sheet I look for that case, and in this case the case is actually smack dab in the middle. If you can see that, if you look really closely, you can see that yellow L, and you see that the corners are mismatched. So the algorithm for that, which if I do this correctly, what it'll do is it'll take these 2, it'll place it in there, and it'll give it the cross on the top, which since I use 2-look OLL, it really helps me. In this case, the algorithm would be, hold on a second, in this case the algorithm would be U, R, U2, RI, UI, Q rotation, RI, UI, R. Using the cross on top. Go ahead and use my OLL. PLL, done. So I honestly think that this is a very, very, very useful method, and if I get decent at it, I think I should be able to average sub 20 with this. Once I get decent with this, I'm going to start working on ZBF2L, which is a lot of algorithms, but before that I might actually start working on some OLL. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but currently this is the method that I use so far. I'm starting to memorize these algorithms. This method doesn't really help you too much if you use Petrus, because Petrus deals with 2gen. So for the Petrus method, I'm not a master with this, so if I do something wrong with this method, please don't flame me. I'm just trying to give you a demonstration here. 2x2x2 block in the corner. So we go ahead and we get our 2x2x3, which I am really, really, really bad at. So I'm just gonna insert in Friedrich style and just pretend I did it correctly. If I can find my stuff. This is the reason I don't like this method. I can't ever find anything on the cube. 2x2x3 block. Now, if you were looking for an interesting method for your Petrus method, I'd recommend looking at EJF2L. What he actually does is he uses Lucas Garin's MGLS, Lucas Garin and Shotari Makisumi's MGLS, and what he does with it is he goes ahead and he fixes the bad edges on this side. So in this case, I'd fix the bad edges by going like this. That should be it. Yeah. So what he does is he fixes the bad edges. Then he'll go ahead and he'll place one of his pairs correctly. So in this case, I'd have the 2gen go like this. Place that pair correctly. Now what he'd actually do is he'd pair these up wrong. He'd pair these up wrong like that. So the edge still has to go in correctly, but he'd pair them up so that you can put them in. And I'm having trouble figuring out how exactly he did this. So what he'd do is he'd put them in wrong like this. So your edge is still correct. Jeez, this is complicated. You go like this. Okay, so you place the one in so it's correct, and you place the one in so the edge is correct but the corner is wrong. Now, in MGLS, what you can actually do is you can use an algorithm in which what you'll do is you'll flip this corner, and since in Petrus you've already fixed bad edges, you've already got yourself the cross on the top. And in CLS, which is a subsection of MGLS, what it always does is it fixes the corner down here, and it'll also fix the corners up top here in one algorithm. I do not know the algorithm off the top of my head, but if I did, what it would actually do is it would flip this correctly, twist this correctly, and all the corners on the top, like this is a Soon algorithm at this point, but if I did it correctly, it would all be oriented correctly. I don't actually know it, so I'm just going to go ahead and insert this Friedrich style. So if you're interested in learning a nice variant for Petrus, I'd recommend EJF2L. Other methods, there's the Roux method. I'm not really sure what to do with as far as variants with that would go, because I myself can't even actually complete a solve with that method, because